What up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Kane and Ross present the Yeah I Said It podcast, branch out of my child, where we express with our full capabilities with anybody want us in correctional facilities. I am the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper, back in full motherfucking phys ed. As always, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, introduce yourself to the folk.
Hey, guess what I heard? If you anti-snitching can bring down even the greatest person, that true? I guess so. Go ask Joe Paternal statue. Yeah, what's good, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good day, week, month, year, all that good stuff. Yeah, if you're watching on any of the other platforms, please share it with your friends, family, enemies, dogs, all that. You're watching on the tube, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Because if you don't do all that good stuff, Freddy Krueger's gonna get your ass. So if you next time you go to bed and you don't want Freddy to come get you, do me a favor, all right? Man, we're gonna have fun on this episode. We got a special guest who's always in the comment section and all that.
Yes, sir.
Proud to have him. I'm gonna let my father do it.
Glad to be here.
All right, so this man, for those who follow us on YouTube and check the comment section, this cat always has something to say, something insightful, something to add that is not coincidental. This is actually my man's. We go back to like 88. Yo, I'm aging myself a little bit. We go back to like 88, 89. Great friend and awesome mentor. I looked at this guy for a lot of advice, a lot of things on what to do, how to move in the community. Ron Boone, aka the Black Ace. Welcome to the show. Long overdue. Woo!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell the folks what you want them to know, man.
Man, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you, Kane. I'm proud of you. I really enjoyed the show. This should be in prime time. I keep telling them. Your brother's doing a great thing, man. I'm happy to be here.
So the fun part here,
yes, sir.
Anyone who watched the shows knows I'm a native Buffalonian at a 716, but I love damn near everything. 718-646-212, the world's greatest city, New York, as always. Now, the biggest misnomer is the thought that I actually believe everything in New York is awesome. That would be wrong. But there's a lot of things we're going to talk about in New York that are absolutely not awesome. And the cool thing is, Black Ace, Ron Boone, is actually boots to the ground in the world's greatest cities. We can give some insight there. But I wasn't sure if you knew, Black. I wasn't sure if you knew, Kane, that per the governor, Governor Hochul says, and this is from an article, the unvaccinated aren't listening to God. And I quote, we are not through this pandemic, the governor told those guys a couple weeks ago. I wish we were, but I prayed a lot to God during this time. You know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers, he made them come up with the vaccine. So she urged people in attendance to thank God for the vaccine. And as she wears her vaccinated necklace all the time to let others know she's vaccinated. And again, I quote, all of you, yes, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart ones. But you know, there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. She continued, you know who they are. Wait. Okay, let me contain myself.
Incredible.
All right. As the guest, Ace, what are you not listening to God? Are you not listening to God?
Man, you know what? This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know what, not the God they talking about. Let's get that clear. But yes, I mean, I have no words for that, man. That's take it away. Take it away. I have no. That's the most ignorant statement I ever heard. You know. But
and I mean, you know,
the question is, what God are we talking about?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for.
You know.
I don't, because I'll start it off, and then Kane, I'll toss you to Ali. it's not that I'm being sacrilegious. It's not that I'm being okay, there is no God, I'm
Mhm.
not being atheist here. I'm simply saying to equate not taking the vaccine to not listening to a deity.
Right.
And here's the funny part. If I told you this statement was made 3 years ago and you had to guess whether it was New York or Texas, I bet you would have guessed Texas, wouldn't you?
Yes.
That's the scary part. So Kane, oh wonderful son of mine. Remember, I called you and said, guess what, man? We going to hell because we ain't listening to God. What you think, man?
Man, I'm not going to regular hell. I'm going to the Hitler wing of hell.
Oh,
And then
Oh.
I'm gonna be neighbors with Hitler, the Catholic priest,
Oh.
Donald Trump's hair.
Oh. Oh.
I'm gonna be throwing hot lava rocks at their head for all of eternity because I'm not listening. And they said it because I had this thought in my head when you sent it to me, and I'm not even being funny. I was like, wow, I wonder which guy she talking about.
Exactly.
Was it Odin? Nah, it wasn't Odin. Odin wouldn't say that
yo.
shit. Was it Zeus? Hold on. I gotta make a call.
Man.
Hello? Hey, what up? Kratos. What up, dog?
You stupid.
Yo, I know you heard of, is it a she? A she? Was the government official a she?
Yes.
She? Okay.
Yes.
You heard about this woman, government official in the world's greatest city, the glorious Empire State. Have you heard about that? Yeah. I just want to know, did your pops is the one that did he tell her to say that dumb shit? You said what? No?
Hey.
Oh, he can't? What do you mean he can't? Oh, you killed him in God of War 3. You're right.
Yeah.
Shout out to God of War. But all right. I just wanted to ask a question. Oh, you got a clue? What God said it? All right, who was it? Oh, nah. I can't say it. That it wasn't White Jesus, bro. White Jesus ain't telling him to say that.
Caesar Borgia? No.
White Jesus did not tell him to say that. Oh, you about to get me canceled. You about to get me canceled. All right, dog. I'll holler at you another day. All right, be safe. All right, one. Wasn't Zeus.
Incredible.
So I don't know what God it was. I'm still trying to think because I know it wasn't whoever I believe in.
Yeah.
But this is getting scary. Like this is spooky hours because first you went to saying that people are menace to society, being selfish, blah blah blah. And then you went to bribing people, giving money, or give me some ganja or that or whatever. And then you try to scare people with the facts and the numbers, and this is how many people are dying that didn't take the jab, and blah blah blah. And then
don't forget
now
the conjugal visits in prison. You get a conjugal visits, and you get a barbecue.
Dead ass. Are you serious?
That venom.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got that, and now they took the ultimate step, saying you're not listening to God.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm
incredible.
Not.
I'm totally. I'll let you finish, but I'm totally surprised.
I'm not surprised because I never thought we would get to the point of bribing people. But you know how people don't play with God, man. You can't say that, man. Like I said, I don't know which God it was. It might have been the guy down below where Hitler's at that said that shit. But
there you go.
But they come at us different ways, though. They want us to venom that thing up. Right. They want us to take our booties to the pole. They come at us all kind of disrespectful ways, man.
Crazy.
It's the nature of this beast.
So now the only thing left now, you already went to the very extreme. You put the higher power in there. So only thing left now is to get the U.S. military to go door to door.
Yeah, that's not funny, man.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying,
that's not funny, man.
Bro, if they're willing to put freaking God in this conversation, then what at that point you're a dangerous person. And you know what the sad part is? That's not really sad. That wouldn't surprise me. If they actually did some shit like that and forced the U.S. military to come door to door and force you to take shit, I bet you people wouldn't even fucking pay. I bet you'd be a little resistance. And then the majority of the people that took it, they'd be like, good. You should. They're protecting you from yourself. They're not forcing you to do it out of evil intent. I bet people will run with that. Because right now, hold on, I'm talking for a while, but I'm gonna let you talk about it. But I'm saying that they're already taking away our freedoms, slowly but surely, under your nose. And everyone is not even noticing. And if you are noticing, you're just accepting the shit because you're scared. Or that's because you think they're protecting you from something. I'm sorry. If something has a 98 or 97 survival rate, what are you protecting me from?
Thank you.
So I'm like I said, hold up. I keep talking. Damn.
Oh, you good?
I got another idea. Because like I said, no one cares about the other three mains that causes death. Like the main causes of death, and I did my research. You go get a heart disease or heart problems, cancer, and accidents, car accidents. No one cares about freaking heart disease, none of that. No doctors tell you should do this and that or take this and that to protect your heart. We already know about cancer. No one tells. We have the breast cancer awareness month and all that, and everybody donates. Mm-hmm. We know they have the cure. So where is all that money going to? I don't know.
I can't side with that one, but I respect your opinion.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna do that for another show.
Uh-oh.
I'm just giving examples. And car accidents, no one's saying it's a walking death trap. It's metal filled with flammable liquid. No one cares about that. We're not saying everybody get outside and ride a bike or electrical bike or scooter. So why are we so pressed about something that is not that damn serious? Rest in peace to all those that passed away. I mean, no disrespect to it. But if you mean to tell me I do something, walk outside, and I got 98% chance to survive this, then I'm gonna still go outside. I'm still living my life regularly. Just boost your immune system, which they're not telling you, which we've been saying since this whole damn thing has started. Even if you did take the jab, I still think you should boost your immune system because you never know. And it is being underreported what's happening to those people who got the jab. That is a fact. That is so fact. I don't know. This is just spooky. Like I said, new Matrix is coming out. And it feels like it's already here because we just walk outside and we see the goddamn Matrix. Except I'm not fucking Morpheus or Neo because I can't help you. I'm not the one because I don't know what the hell y'all doing. I mean, I don't know what. I'm done talking. I'm done. Go ahead, Bob.
It's problematic. And here's what I mean by it's problematic. Touch on some of the things like I personally can't. It has been speculated there's a cure for cancer. My problem with there being a cure for cancer is because if you understand, and this is just my rudimentary understanding, cancer is your body fighting itself. It's a hard notion to think about how it's going to have a cure because it's fighting itself. I do know environmentally, there are things that we've done as humans to create cancer cells. So there's that part. But all of those millions of dollars in research, I would believe there is a cure. It would be out by now, only because of this reason. The sad reality of it is this: when it affects primarily minorities, there's not that much effort in cure. But cancer affects everyone, so there is just as much interest in those who are in big pharma to find the cure as anything else.
No, again, no, it's not. You want to know why? Because big pharma and pharmaceutical companies are not in business of curing you or healing you. They're in business of pricing you for treatments. Well, how much treatments cost? How much money they make over treatments every time you go in?
Money.
So if you flat out cure it, there's no more treatment facilities. So now you're losing hella money. So why would I cure you when I can bill you for the rest of your life?
Because that is a business standpoint. The inherent issue with that, oh son of mine, is that the people in big pharma are forced to watch their own die. If it were not for that, I'd side with you wholeheartedly. But you're watching your own die, not in the name of profits, no. But circling back to where we started, this is problematic because the second you evoke God invoke God into this conversation. God has now entered the chat. We have a problem. Unofficially, this is a quote unquote Christian nation, and you attach it. It's on the money. In God we trust. It's on buildings. It's one nation under God. So there is this belief in God, and God is righteous and all things well. So when you say you're not listening to God, that is signaling, that is very, very dangerous. And I think you hit the nail on the head. The second this goes from this is a health crisis, allegedly. Let's take it at face value. This is a health crisis, right? Where does God fit in? That's where it starts getting scary, because now you're taking this from a health crisis, excuse me, from a health crisis that can be cured or slowed with a vaccine. We are very much in a scientific, provable realm, right? The second you start bringing in the God talk, well, now we've taken it away from science and made it something else. And now you open the door for zealotry. And I'm not being, again, sacrilegious here. Do we really want to look and see what happens when people, God has entered the chat? Jim Jones, David Koresh, a host of others that were doing God's work. That makes me very, very nervous.
And they do that all the time, though. They use God, the quote unquote God thing, as a tool of manipulation and control. And that's what they always do, particularly in the Black so-called community. You see them every election cycle. They pop up with chicken wings, hot sauce, and end up at the church. It's nothing new. Nothing new. Dancing, doing the Dougie, you name it. Hillary.
Not the pandering, not the hot sauce in my bag swag. Okay,
I put that on everything.
Right. And if you don't vote for me, you're not Black enough. You're right. But
it's looking a little lighter right now, so I might not be appealing.
Stupid show. You stupid, B. But it's it's concerning. And for those of us who have chosen to, air quotes, not listening to God, it's getting scary, because it's starting to look like, when you talked about the military coming to shoot you, jab you, I really wanted to laugh at that, except for one small problem. There are actual reports of that coming out of China as we speak, that police are coming to doors and forcibly vaccinating people. Mm-hmm. And the problem we're going to have here is this belief that it's all for your own good. It's that's like you said, we're protecting you from yourself. And that's where it gets scary. So the glorious Empire State has a leader that seems to be a tad bit detached from reality. It is not a belief in God it's not the belief in God where the detachment comes in. It is the belief that God is playing a part in this entire pandemic, to the degree that she's intimating and kind of, signaling like the last guy who left office that everybody hated. And that's the other thing I'm kind of nervous, that Democrats, the very same fanaticism that MAGA folks had for Trump, they don't seem to see the same in themselves. And that's scary. That is very, very scary. But shifting gears slightly,
acting like Republicans.
Shout out to BKMC, Talib Kweli. It's a New York thing right now. So shifting gears slightly, but remaining in the world's greatest city. Some other folks apparently weren't listening to God. New York's largest healthcare provider fires 1,400 employees who refuse to get vaccinated. This article is coming off Forbes.com. It's updated October 6th. Northwell Health, which employs more than 76,000 people, as New York State's largest healthcare provider, fired 1,400 of them after they refused to get vaccinated. Now, this is the other problem, the numbers. I don't know the math offhand, but if you employ 76,000 and only 1,400 of them are not vaccinated, then it doesn't seem like an awful lot to get rid of 1,400 out of 76,000. In the same way, if you have I'm using round numbers here, if you have 200 million people in this country that have taken the jab, if 100,000 have adverse effects, air quotes, adverse effects, well, what's 100,000 out of 200 million? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Unless you're one of those 100,000. But New York, the world's greatest city, found it okay to fire 1,400 workers. Now, there was 97%, as a statement, Northwell said, there was a 97% vaccination rate in his workforce. So there's, I guess, this 3% that said we ain't doing it. And they said, cool, we can do it up to 3%. Problem being, though, what we're being told is hospitals everywhere are being overrun with patients, this, and that. So when you lose 3% of your workforce, was that a good idea? Was that a good idea? Did masks and social distancing suddenly not work? If you're dealing with a COVID patient, you have to be masked up and such anyway. But you created a shortage. And the same thing, I don't have the exact numbers, but the same thing is happening with teachers. A bunch of teachers let go because they refuse to be vaccinated. Ace, you are there, man. What's the climate just in general? What's in the air? What does it feel like being in New York right now?
It don't feel like the New York of old. I mean, people not seeing on the news what is actually going on in the streets. You have police on the street protesting. They're not taking the vaccine, or excuse me, the venom. You have nurses, you have people from every stretch of life out there in the streets. And I actually recorded it on my phone, but I can't pull it up for the sake of the show at this time. But I was hands on the boots on the ground, and I seen a lot of people complaining that they don't show on the news. And a lot of them left. More, they said seemingly more left than got quote unquote fired at this particular time. You know, so the news always don't report things correctly. You know about yellow journalism, how they practice that still to this day. You know, it ain't nothing changed. And to answer your question, it's a rebellious spirit here because people fed up. They sick of the mask, they sick of all this madness going on. And the crime is increasing. Purse snatches are up. People being pushed into the tracks are up. You know, mental health is very, very real in this city at this time, and the crime. So it is bad.
I couldn't imagine it because I haven't been in the world's greatest city in a couple years. Last time I was there was before all this happened, and I went full tour. I went full tourist. I sat in Times Square for a good just minute and a half and just let the city hit me. And it's like, for those of you who have never been there are very few experiences on the planet, I would argue, that rivals just standing in Times Square and just the assault on the senses, the sounds, the move, the light. But I'm wondering, because I don't trust everything we're being told, nor do I trust we're being told everything.
That's right.
So it's like, what is actually going on there? But you cut 3% of your workforce and you're going to create a shortage in healthcare workers. It just doesn't seem like the smartest thing to do. But again, you're quote unquote saving lives. Kane, I don't know, 1,400 healthcare workers on the street, sir. You got a thought on this one, man?
It's sad that, like I said, your rights are slowly being stripped. And no, I'm not going to say no one's noticing, because like Mr. Blackgate said, people are revolting, protesting, like, why are you forcing this unknown substance in my body for something? Like I said, you have a high survival rate and could possibly be solved if they were preaching and teaching everybody what to take and how to take care of yourself,
right?
Regarding your immune system to fight it naturally without any outside help. Like I said, they don't force the regular flu shot on people. A lot of people get that. People die from that. No one talks about that, but I mean, that's just an example. I don't really care about that. Like I said, I don't take the flu shot, and I never had the flu. Not gonna wood. But it's just sad. Like, they're literally in the world's greatest city.
Air quotes, right?
The world's greatest city, the Empire State, the capital of the world. They, in the land of the free, where the Statue of Liberty is, and they're taking it away from you.
Mm.
And you and people are actually thanking people, thinking that people who don't take it are crazy. Like this is what America is, baby.
Yeah.
It's the facade of being free, the facade of having a choice, because basically you forced them. I know you didn't go door to door like I said with U.S. military and China's doing, as my father said, but
Right.
like I think we're going to talk about the NBA. Like the NBA, you're saying either take it or get fired, or you don't be employed anymore. That's the ultimatum, and that's not much of a choice. You're literally forcing that shit on me, because that's my livelihood. This is how I provide for myself and my family, and you're stripping that away from me because I won't take the jab.
That's right.
You basically putting a gun to my head without doing it. And props to them for being strong and willing to die by the sword, to speak of, to say, and just doing them. And hopefully they get new employment somewhere else. Hopefully they move to maybe Texas, where where they don't care, just don't kill babies. But yeah, like it's just, my problem with the whole thing is freedoms being stripped. The freedoms that we do have, the little bit that we do have, being taken away, and people are just okay with it. Not everybody, obviously, but majority of people I see are okay with it. Announcers, I watched Shannon Sharp and Skip Undisputed. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar telling people they need to be kicked out of the league if they don't take it. You got like all these celebrities. You got Bex that ass. Like everybody is so far right into this bullshit that they don't even notice that their rights are being taken away. You so fucking tunnel vision. You're not even seeing the big picture of what's about to happen. This could happen. What's happening in China could be a reflection of what's going to happen here if we don't do something.
The thing is, though, and this is the part you and people like us have to realize who aren't listening to God. I hope it doesn't come to it, but you might want to be ready to defend yourself, because we are a minority and we are on a very small island, sir. I am not disputing anything you're saying to be right. I am saying that we need to be very understanding that the consensus, that all of the media, everything has spoken to how we are the problem, how not getting the jab is problematic. What we believe makes no sense. We've been shown everything in this vaccine, and everything in this jab is up and up and a-okay, and the science has been there. This is nothing new. It will almost make you feel stupid and or crazy for not doing it, and I don't think that's accidental.
What kind of science are they doing, though? From my understanding, science is done in a different way than they're trying to show us. It's over trial and error. You got to test it out. You got to have test subjects. You got to have a period of time where you come up with, this is it.
Remember, we've spoken about it a few times on this show, and I've spoken to you about it off air. Remember, the doctors on Tyler Perry's special, and for anyone watching just now, this is your first episode, go back, please, by all means, watch Tyler Perry's special. They answered the tough questions. Moderna had a 65,000 person sample size. I think Pfizer had a 50,000 person sample size. The mRNA technology used in the vaccine is not new. It has been there from the SARS days. So on the up and up, if you believe what you're being told is all that there is, it makes sense. I just happen not to believe everything I'm being told.
I don't believe that what I'm told, but like I said, the numbers don't lie. Like I said, you have a 90% chance of surviving this.
Thank you.
And then also, what I was about to say. Well, bear with me. Oh yeah, if everybody did, let's just say theoretically, everybody did take the jab, we would still be in a pandemic. Because as much as they will say it lessens your chance of getting it, it lessens your chance of spreading it, you can still spread it and you can still catch it, and you can still die. I know that part is being unreported. We can't say that, but well, look at this. It's a 27% chance less of if two vaccinated people are around it. It's a less chance they'll spread it, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay.
Like I said, if this was guaranteed that you don't catch it or you do catch it, but you can't spread it, then I'll be like, all right, I will probably lean toward, all right, it's actually doing its job. But the fact that you can still do the same things that unjabbed person does, and you walking around with your mask off in crowds and bars and all that, being close to close, cough and touch and all that, germs and shit. What you think you doing? You doing? Like, you're not protecting somebody or yourself.
I mean,
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think it's my big thing with this is, and if again, this is a fact, if anyone wants to check it, by all means. My problem is
this requires me to believe in Pfizer and all these other companies, and here's what I mean. There is no way, if you suffer any adverse effects, you can sue them. Now, what does that mean? That means I am trusting that what you say is in this jab is actually what's in there. But the reality of the situation is, if you can hold no financial penalty, that is an open invitation to put whatever you want and see what happens. Because no matter what, I can't do anything about it. I can't sue you. So even if I want to believe in this, that part right there, a lot of people were sitting on the fence because of the FDA approval. I'm sitting on the fence because two things. One, when the White House staff takes it, I'll reconsider. Let's start there.
Okay.
And then two, trusting of companies and pharmaceutical companies just is not something I'm really inclined to do. So when I can sue you, you know, if I grow an extra finger or something, when I can sue you for it, I'm in. When those two things happen, you heard it here first, I'm in. But not so sure the White House staff is going to take anything. And I'm not so sure it's ever going to come a point where I can sue. Now, if the FDA approval means I can sue them, again, I'll consider it. That's one hurdle. When I see the White House staff take it, come back to me then. Speaking of someone else, right, who is not, quote unquote, listening to God, right there in Biggie's house, in BK, KYRIE Irving is not listening to God. He's probably one of the most famous people currently not listening to God.
Bill Gates. Let's go with the Gates family. They also said they're not taking the vaccine. Them or their kids. Or excuse me, the venom. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of celebrities that's saying on record, and you can still find it on YouTube if they haven't censored that yet, saying they're not taking it. And nobody's bringing them to the carpet. We never heard Stephen A. going on Tom Brady, asking Brady and people like that if they took the vaccine. So you're coming at LeBron, Kyrie, and a host of others. You know what I'm saying? What's that about?
Stop, yo. See, and Kyrie has not.
Yes, sir.
He has not disclosed whether or not he's taking it or not. We can only presume not, because as it stands, the Brooklyn Nets have a preseason game tomorrow, and he is listed eligible to play. He's not injured, to our knowledge. The president of the NBA Players Union, I believe, has said no. They're going to look into this whole, if you don't get jab, you're going to lose pay. They're going to see where that really lies. So it's like, it's going to be interesting to see. So this is kind of a little of our great debaters. Kane, you and I talked about this offline. I'm still, even now, I'm still sitting at, I think there's a 40% chance Kyrie gives the NBA the middle finger and said, I'm done. What do you think?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it, sir. What do you think right now, sir? What are your where's your percentage that Kyrie says, you know what, F this, I'm out. F your couch.
45.
45.
Yeah, like I said, me personally, Like I said, I don't care about if someone takes it or doesn't. I have no fight in this horse. Do whatever is best for you. My problem is the freedoms that's being taken away to force that shit on you. That's where my issue is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sue, like you said, you can't sue too if something happens to you. So they're not liable. So if they're not liable, what makes you think they really care what happens to you? Because you can't do nothing about it. You're just gonna be stuck. But like I said, Kyrie, if you know, is one of my favorite players. Not him and Russ.
Let's go Devils. Sorry, Duke, shout out.
He's a special
Really,
cat.
really.
Like he will speak what's on his mind. Earth flat, stuff like that. Illuminati. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, Kyrie. Earth is flat. I mean, I don't really care if it is flat around. I don't care because I'm thankful that I'm a resident of planet Mother Earth. So I don't really care what the hell it looks like. I'm just glad it's here. But with that being said, he's very brave and he's very independently himself. So my thing is, unless KD and Harden can talk his way into it, because as you know, if you watch basketball, Brooklyn Nets, they're a title contender. They're probably going to make the finals and probably win it.
No,
But
Lakers
if they're fully
Lakers
healthy,
gonna bring that back, Playboy.
I hope so.
pretty
Lakers
much.
got that.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, I'm a Lakers fan through and through. So yeah, I'm just saying it's going to be a good matchup regardless.
That's right.
But he's very independent and stubborn to a point where I think he will do everything in his power not to take the jab. And I'm not the one to count somebody else's pockets, but his career earnings, I think, is over 100 mil. Plus his
Way
Nike
over.
contracts, I'm pretty sure is probably over 100 mil. So if he retires today, I don't think financially he's going to hurt him.
I agree.
But like I said, the determining factor really is KD, because that's one of his best friends. That's the reason why they're in Brooklyn, is because Kyrie said, hey, let's go here. And KD was like, cool. So he's the only one probably on that team that can convince him to take that shit. Other than that, I don't think he will, because he can only play half his games because he can't play home games because the New York shit. And
you can't play in Cali neither.
And I wonder this, man. They don't speak about this like exemptions. We got the medical exemptions and we got the religious ones. They are not talking about that on the news, rightfully so, because if you look at the stock market, follow the money. You see how the different, venoms are doing on the market. So they're going to promote you taking that. They're not going to take money from their pocket, promoting the other lifestyle or other options that you have. The exemptions for medical and religious, because a lot of people can't take this venom because of side effects and, pre-existing conditions that's detrimental to their health. And then they bring something foreign to try to do whatever it's doing, whether people believe it has nanotechnology or whatever in there. It's some foreign information in there that's going to mess with your genetics.
Right.
So you about to get us roasted. So let me ask you both a question real quick. Because
I'm doing my Paul Mooney thing.
Clearly.
I'm not saying too much,
Clearly. What I saw, let me ask you to change your stance at all. The actual jab itself, the delivery method is about to be passé. From what I saw, they are developing an oral form. Mm-hmm. You taking it? I'm at a 0% chance, but I'm just curious. Anybody here taking it?
I plead the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th Amendment.
I'm not. I don't care if it's
1, 2,
pill.
3, 5th.
Yeah, it's about.
So is it a pill?
Yeah, it's about to be a pill.
Talking about the pop pills?
The pill.
Stupid,
don't forget the plants they got out. They trying to put the venom in. They trying to put the venom in plant-based situations now.
I can smoke it. I can smoke it.
In plants.
So I can smoke it.
Stop, y'all.
So you can grow it, put it in your salad. You think you're eating regular salad, and they got whatever they put in there.
Yo, they moving this shit like weed, bro. What the?
Check it out.
Yeah.
You wildin'.
You can cook it, grow it.
I mean, I'm not with it. My thing is like, listen, come back to me in a year or two. Yeah, come back to me in a year or two. Let me make sure you ain't grown like, extra neck
Yeah.
And I'll reconsider. Like, give it time. Give me the White House staff. Let me able to sue. Those are my conditions.
Yeah, me too. And
why people are exempt too? Why are certain people exempt from taking it in politics and on Wall Street, the post office, and other walks of life?
Yeah, because like I said, we gave an example a long time ago. This was before, like when the pandemic started, before there was a vaccine. Our great president had COVID, and you know he old as hell, so you know he's at risk. And they didn't have a vaccine, and he was good the next day.
Right.
So miss me with that protects you from yourself, because like you said, the White House doesn't take it. A lot of powerful men don't take it, and yet they're trying to force that shit on you.
Right.
Like you said, if it ain't time to own your own shit, your own business,
real talk.
Right.
This is time, because they are coming. Whatever's coming is coming, dog. And
yeah, and I'm not trying to sound like a quote unquote anti-vaxxer. I'm trying to sound like someone that is skeptical, because we talk anti-vaxxer is the new MAGA, is the new racist. It's the new signal thing. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. And I'm like, I'm not anti-vaccine per se. I am anti-big pharma. I am anti being forced to do something that seems rushed. I get Operation Warp Speed and so forth, but I'm anti doing something that seems rushed. I'm
anti-government. That's what I am, and I'm anti-capitalism. I'm anti-forcing my ass to do something that is not necessary, unnecessary, especially if you won't do it either. So why are you forcing me?
Okay. Because we care so much. They love us so much.
You're right. You're right. Think about what happened in September. Never mind.
We can go to heaven.
Stop.
Yeah, they care so much.
I shouldn't have put y'all two together. I see this as trouble. I shouldn't have put y'all two together. Though.
New York by itself listened so much that something happened on a 2001 date, and yeah, you saw. Yeah, they listen to you. They're trying to protect the people.
There you go.
Yeah, but
shifting slightly.
Yes, sir.
Apparently, staying in the sports realm, we can count on the world's greatest city and some residents of Jersey. That last Jets game broke into a loud chant of "F you, Joe Biden" or "F Joe Biden." I'm like, it ain't going the way they thought. I mean, just sitting here, because I don't believe in elephants or asses, I have this unique ability to be able to sit here and look at either party objectively. And I'm pretty sure this is not what the Democrats envision. This is crashing and burning very fast. From Afghanistan to how you treat the Haitian migrants to did this whole pandemic. This is crashing and burning before their very eyes. And it's like, yeah, but when you have sporting events saying F Joe Biden, mind you, this is Jersey. I can understand at a Cowboys game in Texas. I can understand it. This is New York, New Jersey. This is at a Jets game, and they're like, F you, Biden. How do they say it when teams underperform? But when they talk about a coach, you lost the locker room. It's looking like Biden lost the locker room. We need a new coach. It's looking like Biden lost the locker room, because I can't believe they're like, yeah, F Joe Biden in the middle of a game. Like that is absolute craziness. But that's I'll let that one sit. Oh, by the way, Black, you never told me what do you think, man? What percentage are you at? Do you think Kyrie walks away from it all? What percentage? I'm at 40. He's at 45. Where are you?
I'm gonna go 50%. It's a 50 chance in my book. You know, yeah. I think it's 50-50.
You know what? I'm gonna see you on that one. I think it's 50-50, but I think now that I've heard from the players union, I think what he's waiting to see is if they can actually legally violate, which is kind of sort of violates possibly the collective bargaining agreement, and say, hey, we don't have to pay you. It's one thing to say, well, you can't play in Brooklyn. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's another matter entirely, though, to be like, well, not only can you not play, but because you refuse this treatment, we're going to dock your pay. That's a different conversation, which kind of makes Andrew Wiggins look like a
Nah, he holding out. That's different. But nah, like
I just didn't get Andrew. And listen, if you
they
know
can-
the term, you know the term. Andrew Wiggins in his interview, and I don't think it was by design. He sound like a broken buck. And if you get the term, you know where I'm going.
Exactly.
He just sounded so like,
he contradicted himself, and that's why I was like, if you're gonna take it, just shut up. What was the point? Like, you did all this. No, I'm not doing this. I did my research. Okay, so what the hell changed? Oh wait, I can't play, and I'm not getting paid. Because I'm pretty sure if he was getting paid, he probably wouldn't do it. But since they said, "Oh, we're gonna put you on this exempt list,"
you don't get paid.
the 19 exempt list. Oh yeah, you ain't paid. Every time you don't play, you don't get paid after guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he actually tried to get I think a religious exempt.
Yeah, and
they
like,
denied
nah.
him.
Right.
Said,
They was like, nah.
But
So-
there's other stuff coming though now. A lot of people are filing class action lawsuits for discrimination. So a lot of that is emerging around the country in various states. So I think Kyrie, by him holding out, the team is getting together and try to figure out what ground do they have to stand on now that as you said, Kane, they did not accept this religious exemption. So I think that'll be interesting to see how this turns out. It's a lot of lawsuits.
Right. And Kyrie,
Yeah.
he's definitely highly religious, highly spiritual. So
Right.
if you deny him, then it's like, all right, ain't nobody gonna be not denied.
But it just let's be real for just a point 2 seconds. Let's be real. The reason and the reason some folks are tossing around the term, ourselves included, broke buck or buck breaking when it came to Andrew Wiggins is because it's like, let's be all the way real with it. 99% of the NBA owners are white. Adam Silver is white. Most of the players are black. So we still have a situation where while they are very well compensated, you are still an employee.
No, you're not a slave.
And you're in
Good book.
Your employer cracked the whip and told you no, and you fell right in line.
Mm-hmm.
They told you no, and you were like, okay, it looks like that's what I got to do.
Yes.
And I don't want to take away the fact that because the way he phrased it, it was either, get the job or never play in the NBA. And I can't imagine, this many people make it to the NBA. And before all this, I'm sure his dream was to play amongst the best of the best of the best of the best. But that being stated, you have done that. And I think, Ken, you looked it up, his career earnings are somewhere north of 100 million.
Something around that.
So this ain't technically a money issue, even though it seems like it. You should have enough money to pull a Kyrie and be like, F your couch, F this NBA. But again, we have this situation where white ownership have told this black player, you do this or we're getting rid of you, and he caved. And it stands in stark contrast to Kyrie, who's like, take it or leave it. Like, oh, what's the worst you're gonna say? I can't play in your league. Okay. I'm sure Ice Cube would be happy to have me in 3-on-3. It's all good. In the big three. So it's like, it was sad. And I'm like, you Kane, if you was going bulk, if you was going cave the second they said, we're going to take your money, then shut up. You should have just took your job and called it a day.
You look like like I said, a slave that was about to leave a Harriet Tubman. It's like, yeah, fuck mass. And then you thought about it. The next day it's go time. And then he was like, shit. Master did actually give me some food the other day. He was nice to me. He didn't whip me as hard. I must stay my black ass here. Peace out. I can have fun with that. Like, nah, man. Like you went so hard against it, and then you just completely did a 360. I don't respect it. I'm sorry. I don't respect it.
I need Kareem them to shut up, but I look at Wiggins like it was just sad. Like, I'm not gonna go super, super hard on him or harder, but it just it was a sad thing to see, and he really looked like he didn't want to do it. And I'm like, well, then don't.
Right.
Like, but this goes back to a lot of the things that come with being a professional athlete. Is a ridiculously high number of professional athletes that end up broke 5 years after they leave the league. And I'm wondering, like, okay, is
Yeah.
this a money thing, or were you more concerned about, like, if you walked away tomorrow, you ain't got enough money to sustain yourself? That's a slightly different conversation. I would hope that's not the case. So the last piece of this puzzle, speaking of not listening to God, ooh, buddy, I don't think you can get more not listen to God than this. Kane, you have gone hard on these folks. So there was a report came out a few days ago from, I'm reading from NPR at this point, that French clergy sexually abused over 300,000 children since 1950. So that is 50, 60, 70, that's 80 years or so.
They've been doing that
Now,
for the longest, man. Since the
since
Greco-Roman Empire.
1950, 300,000 children. Now, here's the part to be mindful of. We are talking about the French, le Français. We are only talking about France. You stupid. We are only talking about France. So, Ace, because we talked about this before I have more details. This is 300,000 in France. Do you still think that's a lowball number?
Absolutely. They're never going to give you the real numbers. It's usually higher than that,
I mean, 300,000.
Yeah,
Now,
that's nothing.
so here's another question for you, gentlemen. If it's 300,000 in France, what do you think the U.S. number is, higher or lower? We going from 1950 to present day, and these things are kind of skewed. But if they estimate 300,000 in France, what do you think the number is here? Higher or lower?
In terms of what?
In terms of, if you think it's 300,000 kids that's been molested in France, you think from 1950, you think it's more than 300,000 here? Right, that's a lot. That is a mind-numbing amount of children that have been violated and so on and so forth since 1950.
Well, where are the most
I was wrong. That's
Catholic
70
churches
years.
located?
All over the world.
I'm saying, where are the majority of them?
That's a very good question that I don't know the answer to, because I definitely do not identify as Catholic. But it's scary. You got 70 years, 300,000. That is somewhere like, let's do some quick math. That's somewhere around 40,000 kids per year. I'm being generous with numbers. 40,000 kids per year. It starts to get staggering when you examine the number. Really staggering. And if this is like sexual assault amongst women, it is probably vastly underreported, which is scarier still.
But
if I gotta bet money, and I hate to do it, but if I were a betting man, I'm thinking that might be a much bigger number stateside. Kane, if you had to, because I'm like,
that's a statement.
If there's more, like I said, I would say, and again, this is just a rudimentary guess, even if it's the same number, that's over 500,000 children assaulted in 70 years by the very people that are supposed to be not only protecting them, but being shepherds of the Lord and showing them the way. And here you are doing unspeakable acts. Kane, 300,000, you think it's more or less or about the same in the U.S.?
And mind you, that's been going on well before that, the 1950s. It's been going on way before that. Before that. You just look at from the Greco-Roman Empire and their little paintings and their artwork, and it's been going on for quite some time. So I think the numbers are more over there than opposed to over here, because it has its inception earlier.
Because of locale. I got you. Because it was locale. I got you. Okay, what do you think?
Go to a verse. He said, a priest said he's talking about 2 or 3. 2
See?
or 5 things. Now you got to multiply it by 3.
I
So
knew he was gonna
what's
say.
300,000 times 3?
It's almost a
You got a
billion,
J.
you know
Cole,
that.
bro.
Wow.
I fucked up the verse, but you get the picture if you know that song. But nah, man, I've been cooling, man. Been chilling. I haven't said a word about the Catholic priest because, like you said, if you're a fan of the show, well, as my father points out, me and Catholic priests do not get along. You act like something happened to me.
Surviving the Catholic priest. Can we get that show? Surviving the Catholic priest and surviving the nuns. Damn, R. Kelly.
That's
surviving
not
those niggas.
You know that ain't gonna happen.
The Vatican would never approve that.
Yeah, that ain't never gonna happen. Ever.
Like that's not even being sarcastic. The
like,
Vatican
that's
would
never gonna happen.
It's only right. We see them locked up in their caps and gowns, bowing down, getting in the trucks. We need to see that. And see the blanket party. We need to see that. You know,
I'm not against anything you're saying. Just the Vatican would never approve it. But I'm not against anything you're saying because it's like, I think when I got a running joke in life. As long as you don't bother kids and kittens, I'm pretty much okay. I don't really care much what you do. But you literally bothering kids.
Yeah.
You taking an innocence away from them that can never be restored. And you are a member of clergy. You're supposed to be an agent of God.
There we go again.
Well,
God.
either, like I said, I'm not either.
Go ahead, Kay. The will of God.
Either God is saying, is giving permission for that to happen. Or y'all not listening to God. Y'all listening to the other guy. And the other guy is in y'all. Y'all have been compromised. Abort. The Holy Spirit is not in you. You released your
sickos think.
You released your Holy Spirit on them children.
Man.
But nah, like I said, I've been cool and chill. I kept them out of my mouth. But like I said, you think I would hate them because something happened to me. No, nothing happened to me. I just, like I said, you're held to a higher standard. You're the agent of God. You're the closest thing to him. You're spreading his message. So what message are you spreading if you're doing pedophilia and homosexuality?
Lord have
Those
mercy.
are the 2 things you can't do under the cloth or Christianity or whatever.
That's right. That's right.
And wait. So rape, so sexual assault, so rape, homophobia, and pedophilia. The 3 no-nos. So guess where they're gonna go? They're gonna be right next to me and Hitler on the right. Chilling. Like, dog, like that's what, like, and these are kids, they look up to you. This is you're a man of cloth. Like, who, like, how sick do y'all have to be? 300,000, and I know that number, you got to multiply times 3, but you have to have a whole lot of people in on this.
A whole lot of people.
And that's the problem. I think that's the biggest issue.
And all this is being released now. And this has been going on for, like Black Ace said, centuries. And all this is coming out now. Like, imagine how many people knew in the machine that they had to keep it going. That's the scary
the study
part.
goes back to 1950. It's just,
it's longer than that. And that's estimated. That's not, they're projecting. So if they're projecting, they might be trying to do it on the low side, like Black said. So absolutely, that's crazy because it one person can't do that to 300,000 people, not even 10 people. You got to have a whole organization of shit going on for that machine to keep working, silence people, all that and above, and manipulate people and all that above, and use your cloth and your power. Because if you have the cloth and religion behind you, you got some power, dog.
And it's interesting. Do y'all understand not Dr. Neely Fuller's work and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's work when they talked about the 9 areas of,
I haven't read Keys to the Colors, the ISIS papers, in a long while. But
in a short, they talk about the system that operates in over 9 areas of human activity, right? And it just goes into what you're talking about. And the list goes, this white supremacy allegedly operates in these areas of activity: war, labor, economics, education, entertainment, law, politics, religion, sex, and I will put health and maybe technology. So if you absorb that for a moment, you'll see how things are staying on the same path and operating the way they operate when we get no justice at this particular time. They have a system in place that operates like a octopus with tentacles. You know what I'm saying? Big Pharma, all of it. You know?
And it's just it's problematic, like super duper problematic.
But they say if you don't understand them operating in that area of human activity, everything you think you know will only confuse you. You know what I'm saying? So it's about understanding the system and how to navigate appropriately and not, and do the best you can, because it's here. Just like KYRIE, he's not going to beat the NBA system at all. You know what I'm saying? But he can make a stand and be on a hero type of pedigree, like a Muhammad Ali to a degree, or how they try to make Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? They try to make him into a borderline deity. Some of these people worship him like he's God Almighty and made some monumental change in life, which that's a whole nother story. And I'm gonna shut up right now.
You either die a hero,
I'm on my
long enough to become a villain.
And there is our mandatory, obligatory Dark Knight reference. So we have this thing, Ace. We've talked about it before. We call the Hitler wing of hell. We called it the Hitler wing of hell because, as far as we know, we've been led to believe Hitler is probably the worst human being ever to live. But like when you look at the atrocities committed by Nazi Germany, the Third Reich, it is almost unanimous. Hitler is the worst human to ever have lived. And as such, he gets his own wing in quote unquote hell. Like there's regular standard issue hell. And then there's the Hitler wing, which is extra hot because you've done some exceptionally heinous shit. But based on what you told me, and this is the part that threw me, you said there were those that have been worse than Hitler?
Yes, there have been, sir. And it's the context of what we're talking about. If we're talking about the brutality of human beings opposed to so-called leaders having war killing people, he's up there with the inhumane treatment of people. But the people that I'm speaking of that's worse to him, depending on whose take you take on it, I have you have King Leopold from Belgium, who went down there in Africa, the Congo, and did so much humane murder, treatment, cut off arms, legs of African people. In addition to robbing them of their natural resources, where we get rubber from, we get coltan and a lot of important natural resources that we, use today and back then. So he was considered to kill, I believe, 20 million on some reports.
Jeez.
20 million Africans, yeah. And then you had some people will probably put Genghis Khan in there, but I wouldn't put him in there because he killed a lot of Mongolians in the Mongolian War. So I wouldn't put him in there. But you have King Leopold, and the one that keeps coming up number one on everyone's list, Mao Zedong, who killed over 70 million Chinese people. Mao Zedong. His name is spelled Maozedong, Chinese communist leader. You know what I'm saying? And he's supposed to have reigned from the 1949 to 1976. And he's reported as the most brutal one of all time to this point. And it's like a hit list of who's killed the most people awards. It's like, really? He's number one on everybody's list.
Wow. So I gotta do some homework because you might have to rename it the Mao wing of hell as opposed to the Hitler wing of hell.
This dude starved people, killed his people. He did a lot of things in the land grab. That's what he was doing at that time. Going divide and conquer. He did all types of wickedness.
Some evil.
You know what I'm saying?
Some evil. There's some evil in this world, boy.
Like 70 million people though. I'm sorry, go ahead, Kay.
I said my entry is the U.S. government, not a
Of
specific
course,
people.
the government helped
just-
Hitler. Bill Gates helped them with IBM. Put the numbers on the. I'm gonna censor my mouth. Go ahead. Yeah.
I said, I understand. Hey, you got to.
Yeah, man.
This is my first time hearing
eugenics
about.
is nothing real new. It's nothing new to the Bill Gates family. Let's put it that way.
Wow. I mean, you gotta. The issue, if you will, with the U.S. government is how far do the tentacles go? Because the U.S. government, like I said, Ken, you and I talked about specifically the Reagan administration.
Oh Lord.
Because this is where you get, crack in neighborhoods, the crack era, the war on drugs, blah, blah, blah. But technically the war on drugs kind of goes back to Nixon making weed illegal. So it's like, which administration? If you say the US government in general, that's kind of broad.
It's broad, but think about all the atrocities we committed. Well, I can't say we, they committed. I just live here.
Are you talking here or abroad or both?
Both. I'm looking at the scope of the whole U.S. history and all the government has done, from slave times to past slave times, like you said, to Reagan image, to Bush, all that. I'm counting all that.
And Google what the scientists and doctors where they went to when they left Hitler. When they left, the doctors and scientists from there, where did they come to, ladies and gentlemen? Did they come to the United States and form the CIA or the FBI? Did they come and do that?
Oh, you're going to get us in trouble.
Did they come and form that?
You're going to get us in trouble. Oh, boy.
And we wonder why we have some of the aroma of what happened over there. I'm going to just be simple as possible. We wonder why we have some of the aroma of what took place over there. Why the government is acting in that fashion that they acted over there. It's just a question, you two.
Yeah, just saying.
Okay.
But I'm a hush.
No, because it's like I said, the reason primarily Hitler is known as the most evil person to have ever lived is you are talking about someone who intentionally tried to exterminate an entire race of people.
Right.
That is just you 6 million Jews.
And propaganda is a hell of a tool. You know what I'm saying? They're not promoting these people I just told you.
I never heard
they did more heinous stuff than you can ever imagine. And keep in mind that a lot of information is hidden in language. If you don't understand how to speak other language and understand other cultures, you're not going to even have a lot of this information. It's probably people more worse than them. We just don't even know, But according to the stuff that we can decipher and understand at this time, this is what it is,
So we may have we may have new naming rights to the Hitler wing of hell, because apparently that's wow.
He was evil.
But the U.S. government is definitely like it's hard because while the U.S. government, because the obvious comeback is going to be, and this is where it bleeds over into the reparations conversation. How do you hold the U.S. government solely responsible where none of this happens without the cooperation of certain African nations? So if the U.S. government owes Black folk, technically, so do certain African nations. This doesn't happen without their cooperation. So it's like,
but it's like you put a gun in my head. All right, we'll agree. You can have them, because let's not act like all the African leaders like, yeah, take them.
Well, Kanye said we had a choice. Slavery was a choice.
So, I remember very blatantly. I wasn't there. Of hearing stories of them just straight up going there and just taking people by force. I'm not saying African leaders didn't do that, because they did. That's true. That's facts. But the American slave and the African slave, way two different things.
Way different.
Agreed.
Way different. Right. So I don't think they knew what they was getting themselves into and what they were really doing. So yeah.
All right, so since we got a 3-person rotation, we're going to wrap this up and bring about our run it back recap. As per usual, I will set it off. I will take the Jeter role and all of this. In the world's greatest city, dear Governor of New York, while I appreciate your concern, I don't think my not choosing to take the jab is a matter of me not listening to God. Just thought I'd put that out there. firing the 1,400 healthcare workers that are also not listening to God may be a decision that comes back to bite you in the ass. I'm with you, Black. I really up the ante. I'm at 50-50. And the 50-50 with KYRIE is if the union president gets it to where you don't lose compensation, I think KYRIE stays. If it comes down to if you're gonna not play, you're gonna lose money, I think KYRIE bounces and says F your couch. Shout out to the compatriots in the world's greatest city and Jersey, uniting in an FU Biden chant at the Jets game. Catholic Church in France, 300,000. I think that number is high. I'm not going to say 300,000 is a low ball number, like it's triple that, but I think 300,000 might be off, and I think there's a darn good chance it might be that much or more stateside. And lastly, well, I will look into renaming the Hitler wing of hell. Kane, your recap.
All right. Shout out to the dumbass that said. Shout out to the dumbass that said whatever God told her that dumbass shit. Wasn't my God, I'll tell you it. The world's greatest city, firing 1,400 healthcare workers. That's the smartest thing I've seen all day. Real smart. Real smart. And KYRIE, I'm still at a 45. Like I said, he is stubborn and his own person to right, which I really respect. I don't think he's going to pull an Andrew Wiggins. Even if he takes it, I doubt he's going to do a whole 360. I doubt it. But I'm at 45. But hopefully he stands his ground. Hopefully it works out that he gets exempt, so we won't even have to worry about it. He can play because, like I said, I will miss seeing him play if he doesn't. But I understand. Revolution, F your couch, like you said, and your fork. Couch. F Biden chance the Jets. Jets, Jets. Yes. Ah, yes. I'm not black enough no more. I'm sorry. All right, the Catholic Church. It's been a while. I had to come out of retirement today, and it's not my fault. I wasn't looking for it. My father sent it to me. So all you Catholics out there sending hate to me, it's not my fault, man. You should be sending hate to the ones sticking it to little kids. But that's another story. But worse than Hitler, that's like I said, I've never heard of these people that you said, Black.
You got Stalin, you got a lot of them, man.
Like, okay, Stalin, I know. But the other two, I had no clues. 20, 40 million, you said. Jeez, wow.
But Mao stays at the top on every list.
Jeez, why are people so evil? Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Black, you got a recap, sir.
I really, my body, my choice, you know, and we just need to be vigilant. We need to stay armed up, stay strapped, get our self-defense on, and keep our mind sharp, and have other alternatives to communicate, because we may be facing a blackout next with these damn devils.
We saw what happened when Facebook and IG were down for 8 hours. People lost their damn minds. Which coincidentally came after a whistleblower, but don't tell anybody.
Right.
That had nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
Don't talk like that. They're gonna come take your channel. They're gonna Dave Chappelle you. Better cut those that
out. Trade their protection for freedom deserve neither. And that's why I'm gonna stand by. Like I said, I have a horse's race. I'm not anti this. I'm not pro this. I'm anti government capitalism and forcing motherfuckers to do shit that is not deemed necessary.
Everything he said.
So yes, do you at the end of the day. I love you out there. Please be safe. And like I said, get the strap, like he said, and we're going to be ready.
Well, on that note, we will wrap it up. I am so happy we finally got a chance to get my mans on. You were going to have to come back again when more shit pop off, sir.
Yeah. Just give me a topic, man.
We just flow with things. You know, this is
a PG one.
Oh yeah, about that. I mean, you know, you in the acting game, so we got a lot of Hollywood we can talk about.
Man.
Got a lot of Hollywood to talk about. We got a lot of movies coming out. We got see, this is where propaganda and advertising gets me, because I'm like, initially I saw this preview for this movie called Lamb, and I'm like, what? But now I keep seeing these trailers, and I'm like, okay, it's a horror movie. It's a lamb kid. Where's this going?
Yeah, if I go watch that movie and I see a dude smashing up sheep or a lamb, I'm going to
Stop,
lose my
yo.
stuff. I
Stop,
swear to
yo.
goodness.
We sat. Yeah, if you sat through Human Centipede 2, you can sit through anything. But
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
on that note, everybody, appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yes, had a
Again,
good time.
close it out. Subscribe, like, share,
Yes.
tell your peoples. Thank y'all for tuning in on the audio platforms. We have myself, my son, my awesome guest, Black Gaze. This is from the Yeah I Said It podcast. We will see you same bad time, same bad channel next week.
I need
Peace.
that shirt. I need that
Yeah.
shirt.